Welcome back to 13 on Your Side. Tours Around Michigan is expanding with Grand Rapids Ghost Hunt Tour, a hands-on paranormal experience where guests use real investigative tools like EMF meters and spirit boxes to explore the city's most haunted locations. Joining us this morning is tour guide Candace Smith. Candace, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. This is great.
Yeah, we are really excited to have you. We were talking to you already in the break, and I've got
so
chills.
Interesting, yeah.
Okay, so can you walk us a little bit through first what guests will experience?
Well, I've been running ghost tours in downtown Grand Rapids for years and year round. And so just on those tours, we have so many experiences. Sometimes it's an entire group, sometimes individuals. I can comfortably say now 95% of the tours I run, someone has an experience on it. And so I thought, let's take that to the next level. So we're still running our original ghost tour, but we're launching a ghost hunt tour. And so what we do is we have like paranormal instruments. So this is an EMF meter. Okay. So essentially this measures energy, which electricity can set it off, but you know, you have to watch for that stuff, but it's supposed to pick up like what spirit activity is around you. We also have these. They're actually cat toys. So,
okay.
But they are really well-known paranormal instruments. So you turn them on and they flash, and then when they stop, the idea is that the spirits will kind of circle around them and get them to light up. So we've had that happening too.
Okay.
On my regular ghost tours, I've been training the ghosts, sort of like, you know, I'll be like, okay, everybody, remember this? Like,
yeah, like let's make this happen.
Don't touch it. Yeah, so we've been working on that too.
Oh my goodness. Now, are these tours designed more towards skeptics or people who, you know, believe in the paranormal behavior, a little bit of both?
It's both, and it's just fun. I've had a lot of people on the tours who are like, I don't believe. It's usually some dad that's dragged along with the family. And I'm like, you don't have to, just the stories are still fun. I have a news background. I have a, you know, international PR background. So I've worked with legal and all that. So for me, like the facts are important. Yeah. And even when someone has an experience, you know, I try to debunk it if I can. I try to be like, okay, could it have been this? Could it have been this? Just because I feel like we have so many real experiences, you don't have to make them up. Like we have enough that are legit.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely interesting. Now, year-round tours for years now, I'm sure you've had a lot of really interesting experiences. What are some standout moments that you would say you've had over the years that you would tell people stories about? Hey, this is what happened one time.
Yeah, we have a lot of those. I say I have a really, really positive good one, and I have a really, really negative horrible one. Ooh. So we'll start with the positive one. So I have a spirit that walks with my tours. He is a settler from the 1830s. And he actually first came to my tours. He came to someone who's really sensitive. She told me at the end of the tour, she said, somebody from the mid-1800s came to me. He was upset that you were talking about this other ghost and not him. And he was like, this is my town. I built this town. She should be talking about me.
Yeah.
And she's like, he said his name was Amos. And I'm like, okay, like, I'll try to find something. Like, that's you know, that's hard to find. I'm like, you know, if you get a last name, let me know. So she texted me later because she was walking back to her car and Amos was standing outside a restaurant yelling his last name at her. So Amos Rathbone is his name. I did research. He really is connected to a lot of things in the city. And I started talking about him on the tour, and then people were like, you know, you have a ghost that walks with your tours. So he actually walks with us. He's a very positive entity. He's very happy. People hear him laugh very happily. He touches people on the tour and it never scares them. It's always like comforting. He's just a very positive guy. We have his voice on a recording saying his name, Amos. And I think you guys have that. And I see you're showing. So the one on the left is an actual picture of Amos. The one on the right is an AI version I did of him, because when he appears to people, he actually looks 20 to 30 years younger than he was when he passed away.
Okay.
So the way he appears is very casual. His hair is like thick and curly. And I think it's sort of like his young pioneer days, you know, where he's
Sure.
like building a city, and it's his happy time. So I think he chooses to be here. I think because he loves the city so much.
Yeah, and don't we all want to be remembered young? We do have that sound, so let's take a listen.
Yeah, I can hear it. I hear the S at the end there.
Yeah, and you can see it in the audio
Yeah.
lines
Yeah.
where it kind of peaks up a little bit and then
Yeah.
goes from there. Of course, in my IFB, it always sounds a little bit different, but
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
That is-
so it's fun. So we weren't even trying to get him at this place. We're actually going for somebody else, but I think we're actually in front of a building that he owned and he had built. And so I think he was like, no, I'm going to talk into that thing. So
Yeah, he's like-
and he made it very clear that it's him.
Gosh, wow, that really truly is fascinating. Now you said you also, so that's your positive experience.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a positive
So-
experience. So the negative one, it's a very well-known ghost story in Grand Rapids. It's the Michigan Bell building. So the story behind that is that there was a house there in the early 1900s where there was a murder-suicide. And the house got a reputation for being haunted. They tore it down like 15 years later, built the Michigan Bell building, and that building has had activity for more than 100 years now. It's a 100-year-old building. And so for that, I've talked to people who've worked in the building and stuff like that, and they've said, they're like, we can't talk about the murder-suicide, we can't say the guy's name, because he will get really active. So he doesn't like people talking about what he did. And so I, of course, am across the street year-round for years talking about what he did. So people have like seen him in windows, they've heard him like being really confrontational about me. So a couple years ago, I'd parked next to the building where he is because that's where I found parking. And after the tour, I guess the best way to describe it is like a big energy blob, essentially come from the building about 10 feet away and like swoosh into my car. And I'd never had something
you
like
know
that
in that
happen.
moment?
I did. I knew it was him. Like I'd never had something like that happen, but I can distinctly remember feeling like the edge of it like cross my face. Like I remember that so well. And so I knew it was him, and I just put down my windows and I kicked him out. I was like, get out of my car. You can't attach to me. You can't follow me home. I just kept saying it until he left. And then since then, he's actually been less confrontational and more frustrated.
Okay.
So I think a little bit that was kind of his last ditch effort to try to get me to stop.
Yeah. When you say like you can't attach to me, like how did you know to say and do those things?
I don't know. I have like tried to learn ways to protect myself and things like that. I do feel energy, and I'm getting clearer messages now because I'm paying more attention to it. But I always feel his energy. It's very strong. Even at the tour, I mean, we talk about it across the street. It's very common for people on the tour to like get headaches or feel like tightness on their throat or heaviness on their chest. They get nauseated. I had a guy a couple weeks ago who felt like he was coming down with the flu really badly when we were there. And then when you get a block or two away, it all goes away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the Bell Building is
Yes.
a pretty haunted location.
Yes.
What are some other landmarks across the city that you would maybe host tours at, or just that might be haunted that people might be interested in hearing about?
Yeah, well, like the ghost hunt tour, one thing in the format that I'm doing differently is that instead of hitting a whole bunch of places like we do in the ghost tour, we are focused, like kind of hyper-focused on the ones where we've had the most experiences. So one of those is the Peck Building. And the Peck Building is on Monroe Center, right at Division, and that has a spirit in it who is someone that was murdered, and she's stuck there. I'm actually trying to help her move on, but it's also a building that Amos Rathbone had built, and he owned it. And so we get experiences from both of them there. And so that's where we're starting the ghost hunt tours, because we want to see what we can pick up in instruments and stuff like that. And we've had like the EMF meters going, and the little balls will light up.
Yeah.
That's where we got Amos's voice recorded. Certainly the spirit inside, we've had experiences with her. So, I'm trying to go to places where we have more activity to help people measure it with the instruments,
Yeah.
and be able to kind of get it in their hands and see it happening live.
And you haven't picked up on anything in the studio quite yet.
No, not yet. And
Okay.
these are not going off, so.
Well, that's good. Maybe the
we go.
weather deck.
Probably
We
the
always
weather
sense
deck.
a little something going on outside
you?
on the weather
Really?
deck. It always feels like there's a lot happening. Maybe it was the skunk out there this morning
Yeah,
more than
I
anything
can
else.
see
But
that, for
We
sure.
can take them out there. We can check.
okay, we'll check it out. Now, what type of experiences do you hope that families take away from this?
Mostly having fun together.
Yeah.
Like all of my tours, I do history tours and art and historic homes and churches and drinking tours, which typically the kids don't come on. I do all these different kinds of tours, and the thing that made me fall in love with tourism is just the joy that it brings people. I get families, I get couples on date night, I get girls' nights out, I get bachelor parties, and so like whatever we're doing, it's just fun, and it's people giving themselves a treat, having some time, together, and I think that's what's the most fun. I've had, and a lot of times, like the ghost tours, I'll have a 6-year-old who like drove the whole family to come, like they wanted to come.
Wow.
And it's just super fun, and I will adjust the language a little bit if I have little kids. There's some pretty graphic language sometimes with some of the things that happened, and so I'll tone that down if I have little kids on. There are ways to say things that are less impactful.
Yeah,
but I can still get the story across.
Yeah, we don't have a ton of time left, but I really want to ask you about this exclusive look that you have into the Amway Grand and those
Yes.
tours. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so that is called Ghosts of the Grand, and this is actually the second annual that we're doing this year.
Okay.
So the hotel has never allowed ghost tours inside the hotel before, so we're the first ones to do that. And this year it's October 29th and 30th, and we go into the hotel, we go into haunted rooms, so we're telling the stories in the rooms where it happened. Last year we did have some experiences on the tour, and we're also taking people into places that like guests never get to go. So, and actually there's a really popular rumor about a ghost at the Amway Grand, and we're gonna debunk that. We're actually gonna take people to the place to debunk it.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Oh man, I want to go. I want to experience all the
It
things.
is so fun.
When did you start to? And I know producers are like, we're running out of time. When did you start to recognize that you could sense some of these energies, or do you think everyone can?
So I think there are a few factors, and I'll try to do this quickly, but I think one factor is we're all born with some level. Either it's nothing to like, you can't ignore it even if you want to. I think it has to do with how open you are and whether you're welcoming that. For me, I think it kind of scared me for a long time, and then once I opened myself up, I started experiencing more. And then also just the entity itself, how strong is it? That the murderer in the Michigan Bell building, he is really strong, where it affects a lot of people, and then there are other spirits that, almost nobody picks up.
Wow. Is that something where like, do you get scared at any point still? Or do you feel like now it's just more natural to you and it feels like a conversation?
I've worked really hard to protect myself. So it kind of used to scare me around the Michigan Bell guy because he focused on me so much. And I can still feel him sometimes a block and a half away. Like I can tell when he's like in a mood. He's always in a mood, but when he's worse, so I've learned to protect myself where I feel like I'm doing okay. Probably my most recent scare, I was in a building on Monroe Center. I was in there for quite a while talking about ghost stories. And I stepped out of the building and something followed me. And I was like, hey, can't follow me, go back to your building. And then I got about a block away, it came back. I was like, go back to your building, you can't follow me. And it was to the point where I had my phone and I'm like talking to them like through my phone, but I was trying to not look crazy because I'm on the sidewalk going, you need to go back to your building, go back to your building. Yeah, you can't follow me. So but that was one time where I was like, okay, it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
So, but I was able to get it to go, and I keep a iron railroad spike in my car. This happened after that guy attacked me in my car. But that repels negative energy. Iron does. So I kind of have layers of protection, and I feel like I've kind of created my own layer of protection through practice.
Do you ever sense energies attached to other people?
I don't. No, I don't. But I have had a lot of people talk to me about things like that, and so I will talk to people about different methods to protect themselves, and you know, I'm a lot of it's self-education for me, where I've talked to a lot of people who have had attachments and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, how do you protect yourself? How do you get rid of it? And so, you know, I have a lot of different methods I can use.
Okay, well, we thank you so much for joining us. I could talk forever, but we do have breaking news that we have to cover now. So we thank you again so much for being here. And make sure, if you have the chance, to check out, where do people go to check and find out the tours?
ToursAroundMichigan.com is my website, and I'm on all the socials. And they can also get the link to Ghosts of the Grand on my social media.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.